Well, we did it. This is it. This is the end of our run of an upload every single day of a cycling-related content while the World Cup is on. And I can't believe I did it. It was a challenge that I wanted to do to see if I can just speak on a camera, put out something educational and interesting every single day. And I think we've done it. I'm really, really inspired by your comments, the engagement that you've given us, and the growth of the channel has been really, really cool. So today is our Christmas party. So we invite all our gym members down and some of our customers. We get caterers in, and we have a right good party, like a little award ceremony and all that sort of thing. So there's probably not going to be an upload tomorrow. But today I had an idea, but actually I woke up this morning and I was having my breakfast and I was watching Hambini's upload on his Patreon page about his predictions for 2023. I thought, this is brilliant. Let's just get stuck into this discussion. Now, if you are not a member of Hambini's Patreon page, do it. It's like £3. It helps Hambini out, it helps him keep his pen working while he's waiting for his next haircut. And there's some really cool educational stuff on there. So yeah, I'm not going to give it all away, but I am just going to add in my my additions, if you like. Now, we did a video that was about the really the long-term future, like the 10, 20-year future. Hambini's just got in for 2023, and he's got some interesting stuff in there. And first of all, I think we should congratulate Hambini on probably single-handedly being responsible for the death of PressFit. It's not there yet, but the fact that the Cannondale Synapse has come out with a BSA threaded bottom bracket is outstanding. Like, Cannondale started all this. Cannondale were the ones that went in there first with BB30, and everyone went mental after that, and we ended up in this godforsaken mess that we're in now. And now, bizarrely, Cannondale seem to be the one leading the change back to BSA by launching their Synapse model with a BSA bottom bracket. Who would have thought? And I think that's a lot of that is down to Hambini. I really do. So thanks. Now, Hambini goes on to talk about the decline in popularity of cycling. And I think I kind of agree, definitely on the sporting side, definitely in mountain biking. The cost of mountain bikes has got, it's becoming really hard to access that sport now. The second-hand market is pretty bonkers as well. So I kind of agree, but I'm definitely a bit more optimistic because we are seeing a hell of a lot more people take up cycling for transport. And it's not so much driven by economy and, cost of living, etc. It's more driven by cars are just becoming a pain in the arse. Where I live, getting to work, it's quicker to walk through the housing estate that I'm on than it is to catch the bus, for instance, because the bus is constantly having to stop and pull in and weave amongst all the parked cars and ridiculousness. There's cars parked everywhere, up on the pavement. So there's mums with pushchairs pushing their kids up the middle of the road because there's cars parked on the pavement. It's absolutely insane. You sort of go into town and there's just cars everywhere, just completely fouled up. And we're seeing an awful lot more people take up cycling just as a means of just getting around, seeing kids cycling to school an awful lot more. We're definitely seeing that sort of market. We're seeing cargo bikes where parents are taking their kids to school on the back of a cargo bike, which is amazing. We've probably got 3 or 4 families that are visiting us with cargo bikes, and that never used to happen. And we're definitely seeing e-bikes with panniers attached, and people are just using e-bikes to get around. We live in quite a hilly place, so getting up hills with panniers with whatever you take to work and pick up your shopping, that has definitely been a massive growth. And I think it's where that growth of cycling is going to come from. Just in looking around the businesses surrounding us, we are seeing bike sheds being installed. We're seeing e-bike charging points being installed. There's always some sort of cycling lane being built somewhere, and I think that is just a trend that is going to continue. So I'm not completely as pessimistic, but there we go. The price delta of bikes Hambini talks about, and I have to say, and the corruption he talks about as well. like, you need to get into this video because he goes on a proper rant about it. It's brilliant. And I totally get it. And I really hate how the DI2 thing has been leading this. The whole, like, it's such an expensive group set when you look at it aftermarket, and yet you can see bikes being sold now that are almost the same price or even cheaper sometimes than what they think the group set is worth aftermarket. And that makes me grumpy. I don't like that. I don't like not knowing the value of all the component parts. I mean, the Dolan video we did was a good example where you sort of go, well, how much is the actual frame costing? And you sort of see the cost of the frame, and nothing adds up, and that makes me feel pretty uncomfortable. I think it's making you feel uncomfortable as well, where you're going, you know, are the brands getting such amazing discounts on Shimano in a point where they're almost forcing us to then have to make their money on the upgrades, or are we being hoodwinked about the actual true value of the frame, you know, the thing that the actual brand makes? And I don't think that's a comfortable place to be. And I think that hopefully the industry sees that, because they see, and Hambini mentioned this, Sensor, Microsift, Fast Sports, Winspace, all making headway into the market out of frustration of just just be honest with me. I want a good quality frame, a value that I can appreciate. And I think if those brands really got on top of the accountability and that sort of stuff, I think they could make some headways. However, I do think, sorry Hambini, I think you missed something really important, and that is that Shimano and SRAM haven't laid their cards on the table yet. And I think the Tiagra group set and the Apex group set from SRAM, and possibly even the A Veloce group set from Campagnolo, could completely kibosh that. Like, if Shimano do with Tiagra what they've done with Dior in mountain bike, you know, Dior now stretches between 10, 11 and 12 speed. You know, it got to the point before they released that group set that, you know, componentry from Box Components was looking really appealing. And now Dior is a bit of a no-brainer. It works really, really well for the price. Not even for the price, it just works really, really well, and the price is a bonus. If they do that with Tiagra, that's a game changer. I think it changes that sort of that environment a bit. And the same with Apex from SRAM, that hasn't seen an update for a long time, and we haven't seen a Campagnolo Veloce group set for a long time either, which is their entry level tier. So there's a lot that could happen there. And also, if we do see a trend of cyclists wanting to buy frame onlys and sort of bringing their own components and do the home builds, I think it'd be very, very easy for the major brands just to release their frames at a really competitive price. I really do. I think the fact they're keeping the cost of their frames behind closed doors is an artificial thing, and I think it's not doing them any favours at the moment, and they could change it like that. So I'm not as optimistic on the big influx of the Eastern brands as Hambini is. I think there's, as always, moves and counter moves. So the mainstream media, I have to agree. I mean, one of the reasons I started this channel was almost out of frustration of some of the big mainstream cycling media. Was like, the GCN show has just become boring. It's just like they go off to an exotic location, they read through the press release, they sit on the fence with their opinions. Hopefully they don't get like shouty comments like we did on the disc versus rim brake thing. And, you know, it all looks like it's trying to please sponsors. And I've been looking at some of the cycling tips thing, and they've got like 90,000 subscribers. We've got 5,000 something. And some of our videos are getting more views than the cycling tips one, which is interesting. And you look around the bigger sort of YouTube space, and actually independent journalism has really got a place. Independent everything, I think, has got a place, sort of devoid from that attachment to sponsorship. I think definitely, Hambini, you are on the right track there. I think you've probably proven that to the world, that independent cycling journalism has got a really strong and exciting future. I mean, one of the things that I would love to do with this channel, it might be a bit of a pipe dream, I don't know, you tell me, is doing proper reviews of complete bikes. I'd love to get to the point where we could buy a bike from a retailer and then review the whole process, a bit like how Linus Tech Tips does sometimes when they buy something in, they review the whole, how was it packaged, how was it built, how was the feedback and problem solving, the customer services of the actual retailer that you brought it from, and then what was the build quality, and take the bike for a ride, give a proper ride review, take it apart, really get in there and measure it. And I'd love to get like an ultrasonic, an ultrasound, and actually really look into the carbon properly, and that sort of depth of review that we once saw in like the late 90s, early 2000s, where the magazines actually used to buy bikes and take them apart. I'd love to get to that sort of stage, and then at the end maybe even just raffle it off. And I don't know. What do you think? Is that a good idea or not? I don't know. It's maybe it's worth a try sometime. So yeah, that's a little roundup really. I think there's some interesting stuff in there. Please go and check out his video. And that's it. It's a wrap. Christmas party tonight, like I said. If you get bored over Christmas and you're sort of missing our content, there are some videos I'm pretty sure that you haven't seen. I know that because they are really excellent videos that haven't quite, sparked your interest from the thumbnail. For instance, the Jake's talk through of his ride at the Three Peaks is like, even if you're not into riding, cyclocross in the Three Peaks, that video is a fascinating look at a young rider learning his craft and doing his research and going out there and becoming better and learning from other people around him, and then putting it all together and having a great performance. It really is worth a watch. And of course, we took the team down to Malvern Classic to go and support Jake at Dirt Wars. And we talked about the fantastic season that Jake had in slopestyle. And there's some really good, cool videos there. I just haven't quite caught your imagination. So if you get bored, please go and check them out and let me know what you think of them in the comments. All right, that's it. Let's go and get ready for the party. I hope you guys all have a great Christmas and New Year as well. Take it easy.